Welcome back to Redhead Beach in round 2 of the Summer of Surf. We've just seen the Iron Woman wrap up, and now it's time for the big boys, the biggest, baddest, fittest and fastest in the business for a 45-minute torture test at Redhead Beach. We'll take a quick look at what happened in round 1, and the boys made their way into the water. The same order as we've got here today. In fact, swim, board, ski, and it looked like Kendrick Louis out in front, but waves came into play, and I'm sure they're going to come into play today.
Yeah, Kendrick Louis set it up from the start. So did the other boys from Newport. They had a fantastic race.
Dane Farrell leading them around after the swim leg. Luke Cuff was in the mix as well. A couple of the Wanda pair, but what a pack we had. It was tough racing and tight racing all day.
Yeah, very tight indeed as we see the boys make their way out. Plenty of feeling in this race being back at Kurrawa, the home of surf.
Oh, they loved being there, and they loved racing hard in an Ironman. The 3 Newport boys and Luke Cuff broke away from the rest of the field, but in this kind of racing, one small mistake made a huge difference there, and these 3 on the front just didn't make mistakes all day long.
Mistakes will hurt in this short course racing. Pierce Leonard, 2-time Australian Ironman champion, is in the mix.
Yeah, back in the mix. Good to see Pierce back after a little bit of a break, and certainly mixing it with the front group. A couple of the boys who were mixing it at the front, Max Beattie had the transfer to Surfers Paradise, and it looks like it's paying off. But in the end, it came down to a sprint between club mates. Kendrick Louis on the black and white ski, Dane Farrell there on the green and white ski, and it was Louis up first, led all the way around and had no problems starting the season in the best possible fashion with a race 1 win.
What other way to start?
Perfect. As we take a look at the results from round 1, Kendrick Louis from Dane Farrell and Max Brooks, I'm sure they partied at Newport that night. Mitchell Allen with the best performance of his career so far to finish in 4th. Heading down the page, some of the big names won't be happy with their performance in round 1, and they'll be back right here in round 2, I'm sure, to make amends. And we've got a huge field of 37 athletes on the line. They'll start with the run again, just like the women, a grueling run to begin. It'll certainly put some of them in a bad place. As we take a look at the start list, Jack, there's a ton of competitors in this field. Who do you like?
Nathan Smith has the runs on the board. 6 golds, 6 podiums, never taken the win, but I think he might here today.
It'll be tough with the likes of Shannon Eckstein in there, another man who has raced more than most and won more than most. A huge list. We head down the page. Trent Martin from Avoca Beach, a former professional series competitor. Over the page, Matt Poole will be looking to do well after finishing in 16th in round 1. Certainly hope he bounces back. And our final 3 from the South Coast, Bo Wheeler, Hayden White and Alex Wright wraps us up. We got more of these great shots from above, and we'll see a little start there. I think that was Jackson Maynard with the Currumbin cap on there, went a little bit early, dragged it back, and the boys are off. And as we saw Lily Costello lead in the women's race, it's Isaac Costello, whose brother, takes us on the trip down the sand for the first run leg. He'll come to this turning flag, and will we see a little push and shove around this flag? Big field here, and maybe a couple of boys have gone out a little bit too hard.
No, the boys have taken it out really fast. Small cash prize on for this first run leg, and I think they want it.
I think a couple of boys who don't fancy themselves as race winners might fancy themselves a little bit of drinking money for later in the day, but have a look at all the caps working their way through. Wes Berg a little bit further back, but Nick Fox pushes hard, takes the win there out in front. He's from the Wanda Club, got some experience there. His brother is a professional triathlete, and his old man used to do it back in the day, and isn't he happy about it? Salutes the crowd, but I think he might go backwards from here.
Yeah, Nick Fox is off to a flyer, but we've got a lot of racing ahead.
There's plenty of racing ahead. Isaac Costello in there, Max Beattie, Jack Lindsay looks like he's already hurting, and then some of the more experienced Ironmen in the field work their way through. We'll try and call them as they come round. It looks like Bo Wheeler in there from the Northcliffe Club. Nathan Smith taking it, slow and steady wins the race in a lot of these occasions. But we saw in the women's event, the girls up the front early in the swim tended to be up the front for the entire race. So there's not a lot to be said about saving your energy for later on.
No, it can pay off being up the front, But with swim first, we'll see a lot of the swimmers pull their way back through now. They may not have been too quick on the sand, but this is where they'll try and take advantage of their strength.
A lot of the swimmers don't like running as they make their way across the bank. We see James Lacey there with the mermaid cap, the blue with red and white stripes, really using his height to his advantage. But out in front, Nick Fox still, he'll duck under that one as this wave, cleans the entire field up. So it's starting to get bigger at Redhead. Redhead starting to rumble and the waves are coming. Will we see some carnage in today's race? Nick Fox, more of a noted board paddler than swimmer, heading backwards, but he's had his 15 minutes of glory and it looks like Max Beattie onto the front. Or is that Isaac Costello there? No, the local lad, Isaac Costello, blue cap, yellow stripe down the center of it. Really good swimmer, board paddler. He's won himself an Australian medal in the board relay alongside Stewie McLaughlin. So he'll lead us out and he'll lead us round, doing it in front of his home crowd.
Yeah, Matty Poole's tucked in on his feet there. He's not going to let himself have the same race he did at Kurrawa.
Finished up in 16th place there. He looked like he'd come up a little bit lame there on his ankle. We know he's had a broken leg in the off-season, but it's starting to come back. And as the boys swing wide on those cans there, still Isaac Costello out in front. Matty Poole's in the mix. It looks like as well, I think that's a couple of the Newport caps. There's a Surfers Paradise cap in there, another Kurrawa cap as well. Burleigh Heads, Mowbray Park, of course, Currumbin. There's Jackson Maynard in there, Hayden White as well. So two of the big names, Luke Cuff and James Lacey from Mermaid Beach. Pierce Leonard starts to wind up. He's on the blue cap with a yellow dot in the center of screen now, back in maybe 16th or 17th place, a great swimmer. So what about this pack that's forming up out in front? But it is Isaac Costello still leading them through. Jackson Maynard, Hayden White in there. Dane Farrell still in the mix. So we saw him lead round one of the Ironman from the Newport Club. And as they push through, Matt Poole just turns around, looks for a wave, hopes to get something early as the boys, they're all over the shop, and 3, 4, 5 will be down this. No, 2 fall off, so it's a race in 3 at this point. Isaac Costello's down it. It looks like one of the Mermaid Heads caps there. That's Luke Cuff on the left-hand side. And who is the third one? It's Dane Farrell. He pops up just to dust his cap. So Isaac Costello, Luke Cuff, Dane Farrell make their way around in the first swim, and we've already seen a little group of 3 break away, and that opening run leg, a little bit of effort's paid off for Isaac. Matt Poole and Max Beattie are having a great swim leg. Jackson Maynard, Dan Collins, the World Junior Surf Race champion from Redhead. It looks like Matt Bevilacqua, Kendrick Louie, Mitty Allen there. A couple of Currumbin caps make their way around. Shannon Eckstein a long way back. You'd expect him to be further up in front. The 5 times world champion, 7 times Australian champion, and 8 times professional series champion. He's a class above in most fields, but has a little bit of work to do and outside the top 10.
Some noted swimmers finding themselves at the back of that field there, but I think they know they've got plenty of time to make their way back through in this race.
You don't want to burn too many matches too early in a race that's 45 minutes long, 6 legs and a hell of a lot of transition to do as they head out to that first can. It's interesting, Luke Cuff really starting to work his way into this race, and he's been one of those off-season transfers. He made his way back to the Gold Coast after growing up at Kurrawa. He's now at Mermaid Beach with Julian Norton-Smith and Mike James, and it looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He's in great form.
Yeah, Luke is off to a fantastic start, and what a way to build the confidence. As one of the Newport boys there jump onto his feet, they're going to ride his wash back to the beach. Matty Poole's hacking away there in third. He wants to get himself back to the beach and onto his craft legs.
So 3 off-season transfers there. Luke Cuff from Mooloolaba to Mermaid. Dane Farrell from Allura over to Newport on Sydney's Northern Beaches. And Matt Poole from Mooloolaba down to Kurrawa to work with Greg Hall and Naomi Flood. So 3 different caps, but 3 similar performances, and performances we're used to from 3 professional boys out in front. As the waves start to come, they'll push hard. It looks like Luke Cuff will just miss that one. This one will wash through. Give Luke, we see it push him home, but it won't make too much of a difference as he stands up. We can see how much that water's really churning on the back and how hard it is to swim in that water. As the boys jump on a wave here, they'll wash over the top of those rocks. So living on the edge, there are 3 leaders as the field is really stretched all the way out the back. But Luke Cuff will stand up. Matt Poole in second. Luke Cuff with a blue cap, 2 red stripes. Matt Poole, yellow cap, white and blue stripes down the center. Dane Farrell, the yellow cap with 2 maroon stripes down the centre, really pushing through, and he goes from third into our lead. These transitions can make a huge difference, and this is where the race is won and lost.
In a race with transitions this long, it's super important that you work on that beach, just as Dane Farrell's done.
Hasn't he ever? He's in the lead. Matt Poole, Luke Cuff, second and third. Nathan Smith looms up in fourth place. He's a 6-time place getter in the Coolangatta Gold, so we know he can go all day. But how unlucky would you have to be to finish runner-up or third 6 times?
Well, his sister's actually a 6-time runner-up in the Professional Ironwoman Series too, so perhaps it runs in the family.
Well, they're a talented duo, Crystal and Nathan Smith, the 2005 Ironwoman and Ironman champion. What an incredible year for them. Had a little bit of bad luck, but Nathan Smith still doing well. Out in front, though, Dane Farrell, Luke Cuff and Matt Poole. As we head further down the list, Dan Collins there, the local boy, the junior, Jackson Maynard and James Lacey rounds out our top 10, but not in that top 10. A couple of the names you'd expect to be up the front, most notably Shannon Eckstein. Max Brooks, our third place getter from round 1, he's not in there either. Benny Carberry, the former New South Wales champion. So some of these big guns outside the top 10, but there's a long way to go as the pack makes its way through this break. We saw how much the surf played havoc in the women's race, the men handling it just a little bit better.
Yeah, the guys' skills are fantastic as they make their way through the back. I'm still looking for Shannon. Where is he?
I don't know where he is there. He pushes through. There's a couple of boys. I think that's him there on the green and orange craft, making his way up and over one. So the professor looms up on the rest of the field. Max Beattie got off to a flyer, but we were talking to him earlier in the day, and he said he's just been a little bit sick heading into this round, and it seems to be showing here. He was out in front very early on in that run. Maybe he's burned himself a little bit too much.
This type of race, this long endurance race, is going to hurt if you've got a little bit of fatigue or sickness that set in earlier in the week.
Yeah, it's going to really come back to haunt you late in the race, that's for sure. Matt Poole out in front. Former training partner Luke Cuff next to him on the gold board. Dane Farrell hanging on for dear life in third place. And then the chase is on. Have a look at the Indian file chase from fourth place. Kendrick Louis and Matt Bevilacqua. A little bit of work to do. Mitchell Allen there on the right-hand side. So had the performance of his life in round 1 to finish in fourth. And he's really come on in leaps and bounds in the last couple of years from a very famous surf life-saving family. His cousins, Hayden and Chris, both professional Ironman, and it looks like Mitty's well on his way here. Out in front, Matt Poole. Max Beattie, we sneak back into the pack, and he's doing it tough at the moment. Ollie Signorini there on his inside, working his way around as our leaders. Matt Poole pushing on the blue board, working down a runner, working. TJ Hendy nowhere to go out the back as Jared McDonald on the outside and Ben Carberry. So a couple of guys we'd expect to be further up the front. Not with our leaders, not Dane Farrell. He's having a blast.
Oh, Matty Poole, he's nearly made a big mistake there, but he's managed to pull himself back. That was well done. They're the mistakes you can't allow to creep into these races.
The boys might seem relaxed and they're having a little bit of fun, but it's on for all money as they head around this flag. And then out the back, 3 men on a wave, Matt Bevilacqua, Nathan Smith and Kendrick Louis. You wouldn't want these 3. They're 3 of the hungriest men in the sport. You see Kendrick Louis on the right-hand side just taking a sneaky look around. Not Matt Bevilacqua, his eyes on the prize as waves start to build out the back, and they're all coming down. So we're 6 on their way out, and then 2 waves worth of 4 competitors. So there's a huge pack here. One mistake from these guys, and it's all over. Oh, as Dave Farrell pushes underneath one. So does Luke Cuff at the top of the screen. Looks like Matt Poole snuck outside, but have a look at these scenes. They're coming from everywhere. Max Beattie and Ben Carberry have a lot of work to do. Max sits up, rests the legs. Ollie Signorini, Bo Wheeler there. Isaac Costello, he might be paying for that early sprint. Oh, and look at the action there. They're all over each other as Wes Berg comes around, Max Brooks, Dan Booth, TJ Hendy, Ben Carberry. These guys are all over each other. It's crash and bash Ironman racing here at Redhead.
It gets extremely tight in that M-shaped transition as we see the boys make their way back out. Shannon Eckstein, he's got some work to do if he wants to catch these boys up the front.
Former Australian board race champion. There's none better in the sport, and one man who will not make any mistakes. So will he be sitting back there just hoping these guys out in front make mistakes, or will he be actively trying to chase these guys down?
No, he's actively working. He knows what he's got to do. He's done it all before, He's going to slowly chip away at this lead that they've got, hopefully reel them back in before the end.
There's very few men who have raced at the front more than he has, but one man who's been out in front all day, Luke Cuff. Matt Poole on the blue board. Look at him work down on his stomach, really going at it. Luke Cuff pushes away again. Dane Farrell on the runners. We can see the lines of ocean coming through. They'll work those as they pick the board up and push them towards the shore. We're back with the chase pack. Matt Bevilacqua, Nathan Smith, Kendrick Louis. There's a few in the background coming as well for them, but Luke Cuff's not hanging around to count numbers. He's going for home. He heads around that orange can and back to the beach to complete the first of the board legs, but we're not done here. We've got ski and then we'll do it all again. This is enduro racing. This is what we love. It's not like your normal surf carnival as Luke Cuff pushes and pushes away from Matt Poole, but no, doesn't get down it. Pooley pushing hard on this wave as Matt Bevilacqua tries to chase the runners. We see Nathan Smith, just sneak around that can. Bevilacqua going for hard. And he's gone the bump there. Has he knocked Kendrick Louis off? He doesn't even turn around to watch. He doesn't care. He's going for home. That's how competitive this is. It's every man for themselves out there. If you can't make space, you take space, Jack.
It's super tight and super exciting. Matty Bevilacqua, he doesn't worry about Kendrick Louis as he makes his way past on that runner. We see his rating go up as TJ Hendy takes one here as well. These boys, as we said earlier, they've got a lot of work to do, but they've got to work hard to get them back to themselves.
TJ Hendy off. Just as you gave him a rap there, he's gone off. The commentator's curse. It's all about these runners on the way home. We see him weaving in and out of competitors. Luke Cuff is not weaving in and out of anybody because he's out in front. Matt Poole hard on the chase. Doesn't look like that ankle's doing him too much trouble at this point. He's been strong through the transitions.
Yeah, those bolts and screws he had inserted after a mishap in the Mentawais over the off-season seem to be holding up all right. As Matty Bevilacqua makes his way around the transition, he's opened up a huge gap on Kendrick Louis after knocking him off his board.
Oh, yeah. Talk about opening a gap there. That's a good way to do it. Nathan Smith in the mix. Mitchell Allen there. James Lacey. Dan Collins is having a great race. So are we seeing the next generation of superstars in both the men's and women's? He's still an under-19, mixing it with some of the big guns as Luke Cuff gets hammered on this inshore gutter. Nobody will know the beach as well as Dan Collins, and expect him to make the most of that insider knowledge.
Just take a note, Matty Poole's making his way up further north there, so I think he's using that rip that we might have saw earlier. Not too many of the girls worked with it, but I think Pooley might go with it in this.
Yeah, the boys, they will have watched the girls race earlier in the day. They'll know the line to go. The water always runs out faster, closer to the rocks. When those waves come in, the water's got to escape somewhere as Kendrick Louis tries to escape this break. He pushes over the top of one. He won't be happy. He's spitting water and, what's this? Max Beattie, he's pulling the cap off there. So that looks like day done for Max Beattie. He spoke about his illness earlier today, and it's obviously proved too much.
No SP love there for Max.
His day is done. One man's day is not done. There's Shannon Eckstein. He's got one of the best ski paddlers in the business right on his hammer, and Hayden White. So expect these two to work together. Shannon really pushing the pace there. He knows if he lets these guys get away too far, he won't bring it back. But we'll be back right after the break with the second half of the ski leg and the second half of this Ironman. Well, welcome back to round 2 of the Summer of Surf from Redhead Beach. And we're about halfway through the Ironman event, and we've had so much action so far, Jack. We'll catch back up with our leaders coming in, and it's Matt Bevilacqua on the left-hand side from the Kurrawa Club, Luke Cuff in the centre of screen on the orange and yellow ski, and Matty Poole on the right with the white ski, the massive Red Bull sticker. They're our leaders on the way in the opening ski leg. Out in front at the moment, we can see them eyes on the cam. Matty Poole taking a few deep breaths. That's the key to being out in front at the moment. You can take a rest, really get yourself focused for what's coming up. Make sure you make no mistakes.
Yeah, we see Matty Poole suck in the big ones there as he makes his way around transition. He's taking advantage of that inside run. That'll give him the best chance to get back on his ski and out through the back of the break.
And how tough does it look trying to drag those skis through the soft sand? One man who's made up a lot of ground, Kendrick Louis, he is hot on the hunt in 4th place. Dane Farrell, he looks like he's going backwards. Ski's usually his strongest leg. He used to make them in the past. He knows the craft so very well. But look at these three fire up as they they start to go out to sea. Oh, Matty Bevilacqua gets a little bit of air as he heads through that one, but just shakes it off, gets into his stroke, and Matt Poole's definitely lifted the rating since that first leg. One man who needs to lift the rating is Shannon Eckstein.
Yeah, we don't see Shannon Eckstein in this position too often as Hayden White on his outside. Another noted ski paddler has to make his move now.
Do you think the boys will work together in this ski leg? Oh, is there some crash and bash? Oh, as it looks like Max Brooks' ski goes up and over there. So not what Max Brooks wants. Dan Collins chases after his. Ben Carberry's no problems at all. Trent Martin from Avoca makes his way around. And Wes Berg with no cap on, the oldest man in the race, mixing it with the young guns as the field just gets held up on the way out. Hayden White bashes through one. Shannon Eckstein in 8th place. Oh, he stops, throws the reg. Oh, he's got to roll. That's not what you want in a ski leg. He's forced to roll, and you don't see that very often from Shannon. Usually he can time it pretty well, but he just ended up underneath one.
No, we saw him sit there and wait while Hayden White punched his way through. Not too often we see Hayden White get the upper hand on Shannon Eckstein.
Experience does not beat youth in that situation. Matt Poole struggles to get around the can there as Luke Cuff really drives the nose of that ski into his tail. So out in front, oh, Kendrick Louis cuts it really tight around the ski cans as he makes his way through. And this, guys, they're so tight on all the course. The boys, the cans, how short do they try and make this race?
Why make it any longer than you have to? Course knowledge, course management is super important here, and one bloke that's managing this course better than the rest is Matty Poole. Have a look at him go. On the way home here, we'll probably see him try and lift on this little bump, and he has. He's going to try and hold this right through to the beach. If he can do that, it will open up a good-sized gap.
Matt Poole puts the pressure on the 3 chasers and he lifts the rating again. He knows he can turn this into a wave if he pushes hard. He gets down it, he gets along it, and he gets home. What a performance from Matt Poole. Kendrick Louis, oh, a little bit of crash and bash. We've seen him come off once already when things got tight, but not this time as Matt Poole makes his way into shore for the opening ski leg. We're almost at the halfway mark, and the man who finished last in round 1 will lead us through round 2. His old man Ian there grabs the ski. The handler's all important here. Takes on a drink as 2nd, 3rd and 4th. A little bit of trouble in on the shore break, but not Matt. But we see Matt Bevilacqua in the background just trying to wade after losing his ski. Matt Poole leads us through one loop of the swim, board and ski. It looks like Kendrick Louis, Luke Cuff and Matt Bevilacqua chasing hard as they head up past the surf club for the 4th last time. And he's opened up maybe 100 metres on Kendrick Louis and Luke Cuff there. Matt Bevilacqua, Nathan Smith still in 5th place, and we know he's only going to get better as this race goes on.
He hasn't come into transition just yet, so he's still got plenty of work to do. Someone that's done plenty of work and made his way back up to the front is Kendrick Louis. After that mishap, Matty Bevilacqua knocked him off his board earlier.
Yeah, he's really building into this race, and I guess that's key. You don't want to spend too much too early. You just want to stay with the leaders and then build towards the end. And he's built into this swim leg, back with Shannon Eckstein outside the top 10. You won't see that all too often. And Gav Hill picks up his craft. Matty Poole duck diving, wading through this bank. Your ability to negotiate a bank like this will make all the difference in these swim legs. We can see the aerated water, that white water there. It's just about oxygen that's been churned up from the waves coming in. Matty Poole settles into his stroke. He's one of the toughest in the sport, especially in the swim leg and the Ironman.
Yeah, Matty Poole swims well when he's tired, and that is a huge advantage to have out here. If you can swim well when you're tired, you're going to open up a bigger gap on those guys that cannot.
And Kendrick Louis is another one who swims well tired. 2nd, 3rd legs of the Ironman, 4th leg of the Ironman like we've got today. Matt Bevilacqua chasing hard as usual. Matty Poole's training partner there at Kurrawa in Broad Beach. So 4 of these guys at the top of the race used to train together at different points at Mooloolaba on the Sunshine Coast. They've all made their way to different clubs, but they're all still producing the same performances we're used to. That's Nathan Smith, a former runner-up in the surf race at the Australian Championships, chasing hard back in 5th place. Can he claw his way back into this race?
I'd like to see it, but I don't know if he can control the youth that are ahead of him.
He's giving them 10 years experience in the case of Kendrick Louis. 10 years his younger, but he's clawing his way back in. We can see back to 5th place at the top of the screen there, then a huge gap back to the rest of the field. Looks like Hayden White's in there. Shannon Eckstein is just coming into shot as well. So these boys, so much work to do. As Matty Poole looks for a wave, he looks under his arm and something looms on the outside. This is where the races are won and lost. There's a long way to go, but it's these little gaps that'll play all the difference towards the end.
These little gaps that can make such a huge difference. But at the same time, these little gaps can diminish. As I think this one, a wave looms. There it is. The gap is closed.
Oh, you've called it there. Kendrick Louis back to the front of this race. Matt Poole picks it up broken. Great job from him. Sometimes going backwards can help you go forwards. And look at those. There's 2 off that one. 2 are off the back. So it looks like Luke Cuff's held it all the way to the beach. Matt Poole and Kendrick Louis, 2 of the best in the business, have not done the best body surfing we've ever seen from those 2. And Luke Cuff trots around transition there and heads into the second half of the final swim leg. For one last time, he'll make his way through the break as he passes a couple of the back markers. Such deep water, a little gutter's starting to build there. It's only going to make things tougher for these swimmers.
Yeah, and I think you'll see Matty Poole try and use the advantage of his height there as Nathan Smith and
Matt Bevilacqua, that's him with the Kurrawa cap. So in 4th and 5th place, Nathan Smith working into it strongly at the moment. Matt Bevilacqua swimming not his strongest leg. He might use Smith to drag him around here, but Cuff really hammering away as he pushes through and underneath a set wave there. He's got to get out into green water in front of these 2 because he knows they're probably better swimmers than him at this point. If he can make them do all the work and force them to come around him going around the cans, he can probably minimise the damage.
Yeah, and damage these 2 will do if given a sniff. I don't know if they can catch Luke Cuff, particularly in that board leg to come.
Yeah, he's such a strong board paddler, former runner-up at the Aussie titles. As a few of the boys try and pick up broken waves and they won't. Dane Farrell hanging in there after a tough couple of legs. We spoke about highs and lows in the women's race. It looks like Dane's going through a bit of a low here in the men's.
Yeah, and he's got to keep his head on. He's got to stay relaxed, make sure he gets himself through to his next high, out the other side, and really close the gap on the leaders.
Mitchell Allen from Wanda ahead of Shannon Eckstein, Hayden White. It looks like Nick Green comes around from the Northcliffe Club as well. So a lot of work for those guys left. Luke Cuff, Matt Poole, Kendrick Louis, Nathan Smith, Matt Bevilacqua. That's our top 5. A big gap back to Farrell, Lacey, Carberry, Allen, Eckstein, White and Green. A long way for those guys outside the top 10 to come back, even to finish on the podium, let alone win the race. So we head around the can and Matt Poole forces his way on the inside. Even though these guys used to be training partners, even though these guys are mates, it means nothing out here in race time, does it?
We saw him drop one on the head of Luke Cuff there around the can. So as you can see, it's not all fun and games. They're pretty rough when they go around those cans.
And it's not uncommon to cop one in the swim. There's arms going everywhere. There's legs going everywhere. Looks like Luke's given himself a little bit of room there on the outside. The blue cap with the red stripes with Mackenzie Heinard and Dan Booth working their way around the flag there. These swimmers still coming. TJ Hendy in there. Ollie Signorini. Alex Wright from the Alex Headland Club. He's got a lot of work to do. Isaac Costello, if he wants to get back in this one. And Wes Berg without the cap. You'd expect him to be further up the front at this point, so not having the best day, Wes, but I'm sure he'll be back. The boys up in front start to make their way home, and it's still all over each other. Crash and bash in the final swim leg. We've just got board and ski coming up in the Enduro, so don't go anywhere. Well, welcome back to Redhead Beach and round 2 of the Summer of Surf. We're getting to the business end of this Ironman race, and we've got 3 out in front. Kendrick Louis from the Newport Club on the left-hand side, Matt Poole from Kurrawa in the centre, and Luke Cuff goes down a wave on the right-hand side from Mermaid Beach, but they'll both get cleaned up by this one, and it's still a race in 3, Jack Hansen.
A race in 3, but a race in 3 is 3 of the best guys that we've got in this race. It's going to be very close. These last 2 legs are going to come down to the wire.
When you're racing like this, it comes down to match racing kind of thing. The little things will make a big difference. Do you try and break break away, or do you hold on for a sprint to the line?
There's still plenty of time left in this race. These guys will probably try and capitalise on the mistakes that may be made by the other competitors.
And there's still a lot of racing left, isn't there? They've got to go out through the break 2 more times on both ski and board, so a lot of room for error. Luke Cuff out in front, Kendrick Louis, Matt Poole, and we see the guys in the Indian file on the transition. They try and find the person in front of them's footsteps, makes it that little bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's an energy-saving tactic. The more energy they can conserve at this stage of the race, the better they're going to be at the back end.
As they make their way onto the boards for the final time. Luke Cuff, Kendrick Louis, Matt Poole, Matt Bevilacqua, Nathan Smith. That's our top 5. You go a little bit further back and they've got a little bit more work to do here as we see Smith really grinding this one out. He's a grinder these days. We saw he had that big top speed when he was young, but as he's got a little bit older, he's lost a step of the speed, but he can definitely go all day. He's like a diesel engine. Luke Cuff, goes underneath one. Matt Poole didn't even bother rolling. He just pushed the nose of the board through that. So the swell continuing to hammer our leaders out in front, and it gives Matt Bevilacqua in 4th place a little sniff, but he's got a lot of work to do. We can see him off in the distance, getting his own dose of Redhead's finest. Matt Poole on the front and starting to lift the pace. Bevilacqua's made his way through the break, down on the stomach, but he gets up on the knees. Great work from him there. We know how much quicker he can paddle up on his knees, how much of an effort it is to do though. Shannon Eckstein and James Lacey all the way back down in the field, and a huge amount of work to do. I don't know if these boys can get back into the race from that far down. You wouldn't ride a champion off, but it'd take a hell of an effort to win this one.
Yeah, it's a long way to fight back. We did see Coach Mike James give James Lacey a little bit of a pep talk there as he ran around, so that might be enough to spur him on.
Definitely push him into the top 10, and any opportunity you've got to knock off the Australian champion, you would certainly take it, especially as a young gun in the sport. Matt Poole comes around. It looks like there's been a wave washed through here recently, so the boys will have to keep an eye out on the right, or their left-hand side, for any waves coming through that white water there. Very indicative, and as we speak, one pushes through. Look at Luke Cuff push down it. Luke Cuff's down. Matt Poole just falls off. Luke Cuff works that the best, and Kendrick Louis will fall off the pace. Matt Bevilacqua looking a little bit dishevelled there. These boys, they've been going for about 30 minutes at this point at a heart rate of about 160 to 170 beats per minute. So that's at the absolute top end of any athlete in any sport. They're some of the fittest in the business, and one of the fittest in the business, Matt Poole pushing. He's getting back to the lead. Will he get down it? No, but Luke Cuff will, and he just does a couple of little butterfly strokes there, gets down on the back straps, and is this a defining moment in the race? Have we witnessed the winning move in the Ironman here? There's a long way to go, but it's an incredible gap that he's taken over Matt Poole in just a matter of moments.
You can't count Matt Poole out just yet. There's still plenty of racing to come, and he's a phenomenal athlete.
Luke Cuff is up and around. Matt Poole on the chase in 2nd place. Then Kendrick Louis, the rubber band, just stretches a little bit more. Will it break? He's been off the back of the pace a few times in this race, but pulled his way back to the lead. But is this the defining move? Luke Cuff up and over a wave, up and over another one. But Louis gets in nice and close there, so we can see his technique. Great technique from a board paddler. We can see how far he gets that reach out in front, deep into the water. His arms go and pulling a lot of water.
Yeah, he wants to keep that bum up nice and high, head down and reach out as far as he can. That'll pull plenty of water and get himself out to that turning can.
As Luke passes one of his club mates there who's still making his way around for the swim. So this field's strung out so far. 40 minutes worth of Ironman racing in the heat, and the swell of Redhead Beach is really going to take its toll on some of these boys. And out in front, Luke Cuff's doing his best to part a toll on the rest of the field. Matt Bevilacqua and Kendrick Louis chasing hard. Nathan Smith there as well, so he's not letting Bevilacqua go. There's 13 years age gap between these two, but they're both racing like they were juniors again, going hard at it head for head.
The old Sea Dog in Nathan Smith isn't going to let young Bevilacqua have it all his own way, I don't think.
Oh, it'd be interesting to see a run up the beach, but out in front, one man who doesn't want to run up the beach, one man who's hoping to get back into it, actually, Shannon Eckstein, comes down that wave, working hard. One man working hard is Luke Cuff. He gets down another wave, so two board legs, two board waves as he sneaks across. He's going to have to go around the can here, so that's why he doesn't look like he's making his way towards the shore. He's just sit up. James Lacey pushes around the turning flag, and a few of the boys, Bo Wheeler and Ben Carberry, come down waves. But Luke Cuff's making his way home. He's not waiting for Matt Poole, and he gets away from out the back. So this has been a lucky run from Luke Cuff, but it's reward for effort. You get out in front, you get yourself a gap, you get a wave, and you get away.
Lucky? I think Luke Cuff has put on a clinic here. He's shown Kendrick Louis and Matt Poole, two of the best guys in the business, how to do it.
And he is one of the best as well, and he looks very comfortable on this run, so no signs of fatigue there. And I guess if you've had two waves in two legs, you're going to be that little bit more rested as Matt Bevilacqua pushes hard. Matt Poole, a lot of work to do now in second place, heading into the final ski leg. There's a big gap. His ankle's still holding up well, and it looks like his mum, Philippa Poole, gives him a little shout of encouragement there. She knows he's in this up to his eyeballs. Luke Cuff looking so good on that transition. He seems to be getting better and better as the race goes on.
Yeah, and as it keeps going, Luke Cuff is going to try and pull away from these other boys. He could be our next big endurance star.
Well, he's going the right way about it as Kendrick Louis grabs a drink and the gap widens just a little bit more. Cuff, Poole, Louis. Nathan Smith has gone past Matt Bevilacqua, but I'm sure they're going head-to-head in a battle. And as they make their way down, Matty Poole grabs his ski and heads out for the final time. Luke Cuff pushes through the break there. He seems to have a good run at the moment. This one might slow him down a little bit. No, he goes up and over, and he gets airtime there over the top, sets himself, shakes it off, and goes again. Matt Poole driving hard there. We can see him focused out as he leans back, crashes through another wave, lifts the rating again, lifts it again. He leans back another time and tries to get up and over a wave. So a fairly good run there for Matty Poole, and then he settles the pace down, really tries to work on his technique.
He can't afford to sit back and wait, but we see again, he's gone that little bit further to the north, hoping to try and use the advantage of that rip.
Oh, up and over for Poole. Oh, and he almost went off there. A mistake now would be crucial. This is when you can't make a mistake. One more error from either of these guys as Kendrick Louis goes backwards. He does not want that one. Oh, and he isn't happy about it at all. So he's been cleaned up. Oh, again, so bad luck for Louis, and it's not his fault. It's not like he's been dropped for slow speed at the moment. He's got waves coming through, pushing him backwards, pushing him further and further out of this race, and isn't he filthy about it?
Yeah, you cop a couple of waves on the nose of the ski, particularly this time of the race when you are tired. It's not easy to get yourself up and moving again.
Not at all. As Nathan Smith, he has to stop as the waves come, and oh, he goes, oh, and he's off and backwards. Bevilacqua, no problems at all, shoots through that one and is into green water, and he'll say, thank you very much, Smithy. I'll see you later on, mate. He's going to leave him behind. Nathan Smith back on with a little bit of work to do, and another one comes through. Oh, and he cops it again. So it seems like if you cop one, you're going to cop two or three.
Yeah, you don't want to get stuck in that wave zone. That's the place you want to get out of as quick as possible.
And one man who got through as quick as possible is Matty Poole as he really starts to drive that ski up. As we head into this point, he gets a little bit caught up with the, once again, going around the can. We just saw the rope from the can caught around his paddle. These guys are cutting it so fine, taking such huge risks here, but the reward's massive if it pays off.
If it pays off. That could have turned out horrible for Matty Poole, but Luke Cuff pulls away on another runner here. He has had luck all day in terms of runners.
In sync with the ocean, Luke Cuff, every time he's come in, a wave has stood up. He's had to work hard for him, but he's made them count. Kendrick Louis gets around. He takes a quick look at Nathan Smith and Matt Bevilacqua, who are on the chase, as Matt Poole gets one from the outside. So Matt Poole picks up a huge one. We've got a jag here, and he knows it. He's pulled down a wave, and he just rests. But Luke Cuff finds another one, somehow manages to pull away wave from nowhere as he passes Shannon Eckstein on the way out. Enjoy it now, Cuffy. That mightn't happen too many times in your career when you're this far in front of Shannon Eckstein. He makes his way into the shore. This has been an incredibly impressive performance from the 21-year-old Luke Cuff, only relatively new to the open ranks, but he is putting on a clinic here at Redhead.
And this goes to show that age doesn't matter. Lizzie Wellborn wins the women's. Luke Cuff at 21, leading his way out in the men's. We have a bright future ahead.
Oh, don't we ever? And he has a bright future right here, right now. Gets on Matt Poole, knows it's now or never for him. Lets the ski go, but picks it up. So makes his way around. Luke Cuff still in the break. Will the waves start to make a huge difference here? There's a lot of white water there, and Luke Cuff lifts the rating. He knows, he just sneaks through another one. A little bit of air time. So he likes to get airborne here and tries to get that ski moving. And another one. Oh, heartbreaking here for Cuff. There's nothing you can do about it, but the waves are coming. You negotiate them the best you can, and you hope the rest of the field gets hit worse than you do.
Yeah, he's just got to play it smart. He's found his way out into the open water now as we see Matty Poole come over the top of one. He's still chasing hard. He's the only one in this race at the moment that can catch Cuff.
Where is Kendrick Louis? He's in third place. I don't know if he can catch Cuff. Luke Cuff out in front on the orange ski. There's Louis there. He's trying to make his way through the break, but one will hit him again. Oh, Kendrick Louis has been so unlucky on this final ski leg. He's been hit 3 or 4 times in the break. Such a tough break, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's surf life saving. Matt Bevilacqua has gone past Nathan Smith. We saw that earlier on as he'll push his way around, but can he get Kendrick Louis there? Can he force his way onto the podium?
Well, I think Louis made his way out through that break now, so it's going to be tough for Bevilacqua to try and close that gap.
Well, have a look at that. Has that gap closed there? Luke Cuff out in front on the orange and yellow ski. Matt Poole chasing hard on the white ski. Poole a little bit more experienced than Cuff. Former training partners up at Mooloolaba. Cuff turns for the final time and he makes his way home. You'd have to say he deserves it from here. He's really led the entire day. He's really made the most of it, but this man doesn't care if he deserves it. It's racing. They're there to win. It's their job and they want this one bad.
Matty Poole is a man on a mission. We watched him motor down Luke Cuff there. Can he pick him up before the final run leg?
Luke Cuff has found runners all day and turned them into waves. Can he find one more? That's all he will need. One more runner that turns into a wave as we see Matt Poole loom up in the back of screen. Where is he? Oh, there he is there. Don't look around, Cuff, because he's coming and he's coming fast. Matt Poole pushing down a runner on the outside. Luke Cuff, this is it here and now. Can he get over the top of this one? He'll come round a wave. No, he won't. Pulls down one on the outside and we've got a race in 2. Heartbreak for Cuff, Jack. Half break. We've got a race in 2 and we're going to have a sprint up the beach.
2 blokes, 2 mates, 2 ex-teammates, and here we go. The final run leg. This is exciting.
Oh, Luke Cuff on the left-hand side. Matt Poole, he was out of it for all money, but he's back in it in a big way here. They put the power down. Look at him go. It'll be about who gets up first. Poole's up first. Cuff's just behind him. Poole's up. He's in front. Cuff's not letting him go. The race is on. They're up the beach. Matty Poole, thank you very much. He'll take home round 2. He's come from the clouds. Luke Cuff heartbroken in second place. He deserved more than that, but that's racing. And Matty Poole, what a performance to bring home Summer of Surf, the Ironman round 2. Kendrick Louis, all he can do is laugh about his final 2 ski legs. You couldn't have worse luck than he had there as he jogs up the beach. A devastated Kendrick Louis in third place. He didn't even get a chance to mix it with these boys. What a finish, Jack.
Wow. What a finish it was. New ankle, new club, new Matt Poole. You saw it here.
Oh, great job. Kendrick Louis in third. He'll be back to fight another day and hopefully with some better luck there. All he can do is smile about it. As we take a look at the boys a little bit further back, the race is still on. Every race counts. Every place counts. Matt Bevilacqua was just broken away from Nathan Smith, so the race is on here for 4th place. Bevilacqua looks strong, bringing his ski home there. Smith just on the wave behind him. I don't think he can get him unless he surprises him. Bevilacqua's up. He knows how important it is. He's really got quick feet up the beach. So Bevilacqua will finish in 4th place. Smith, an impressive performance against some younger opponents there in 5th. The old man still got it.
Yeah, absolutely still got it. Nathan Smith, very well done.
And Shannon Eckstein has worked his way through the field there, so an impressive final ski leg from Shannon. If this race had kept going a little bit longer, we could have seen him mix it with the best guys, but left himself with a little bit too much work to do in the final ski leg. He looks like he'll work his way home for a 6th place finish there, so a good performance and positive signs for the former Summer of Surf Round 1 winner.
Yeah, and you can never count Shannon Eckstein out. He'll have a huge summer ahead.
Oh, he's the best in the business. As some of these blokes, Benny Carberry makes his way home. He'll finish in 10th place. So what a performance. A good way to finish a long day of Ironman racing in the Enduro. 45 minutes of the toughest test you will see in surf life saving and some of the toughest men you will see in Ironman racing. It's been a huge performance. A couple of stars of the future have been born.
Yeah, plenty of stars born here today. Luke Cuff, Lizzie Wellborn, Gemma Smith, just to name a few.
Definitely, as the boys continue to race up the beach. Every race counts, every place counts for the entire Summer of Surf. We're just getting started and things are really starting to heat up. So Matt Poole steals it in the dying stages from Luke Cuff, man who led all day. Kendrick Louis did well for 3rd. Corey Taylor, an under-the-radar race, but finishes inside the top 10. Over the page, Trent Martin, Dan Collins, Dane Farrell slipped a long way after leading early. Nick Green, Cody Innes, Jared McDonald and Pierce Leonard from the Southport Club. We'll see them next round as well. Isaac Costello on his home beach, heading all the way down through a large list of competitors here. Simon Murfitt, Harrison Stone, Lockie Bruce, Andrew Murfitt, Sam Morgan, and of course, Max Beattie, not the performance he was looking for.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was an ideal hit out for us boys, you know. That's all, you spend the off season getting really super fit. You want to get yourself right through summer, and you know, it felt like an hour. I'm sure it was pretty close to that endurance race. It was just neck and neck. I felt like myself, Kendrick and Cuffy were just, you know, when I thought I was at my 5th gear, those boys just picked up and kicked again, and I went, wow, you got to find something else, or else those boys are going to drop you pretty quick. And yeah, that's kind of how the race went down. You know, right towards the end there, Cuffy got a little board wave, and yeah, it's pretty hard to close somebody in at that sort of end of a race.
This early in the season, you're feeling strong?
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to, you know, get a bit of confidence up heading into some of the major events over summer. I really definitely wanted to come down and get a win today. You know, it's been a massive off season for me. I broke my leg. I had 2 surgeries, 6 pins in my leg. So, you know, a lot of guys, they kind of see you turn up and they forget everything that's happened 4 months ago. 4 months ago, I was on crutches with 6 pins in my foot and wasn't even looking close to running. So when you get into a race like that, I was really nervous about that opening run leg. I didn't say anything to anyone, but you know, some days you have your good days and the leg's all right, other days it's shocking and I can barely walk. So I'm really happy with that.
Change of club seems to have gone well.
Yeah, that's it. We've all departed from Mooloolaba and all the boys have spread out, and you know, they've come out showing that they want to, you know, make a mark. And Cuffy racing for Mermaid, Whitey for Currumbin, me and Bevy at Curra, you know, we're here to make a name for ourselves, and all the boys certainly want to get some wins up.
Big summer ahead.
Definitely big summer ahead.
Well, it's been a big start to the summer for Matty Poole. He sits down in 6th place overall on the series. Kendrick Louis 3rd was enough to give him the lead after the opening 2 rounds. As we head down, Jackson Maynard and Bo Wheeler round out our top 10. Shannon Eckstein with a little bit of work to do, but I'm sure he'll bounce back.